Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another Second Breakfast podcast. I'm Andy Roth alongside Zombie Phil Duvall. Say hi, Zombie. It is the end of another long week. Phil, why are weeks so long? Why are they so long?
We got so much to do.
It's true. Folks, we're busy people, but not too busy.
No, if we were all a little bit more godlike, we'd just take one day off a week. And I mean, really take it off. I mean, just not do stuff. Just chillax.
You will be unsurprised to learn I am not godlike.
Thou shalt chillax.
Thou shalt the not oft-cited 11th commandment.
It's the friggin' third commandment.
I know. But chillax, really?
Remember the Sabbath day to chillax during it.
Fair.
Now, admittedly, it's a more modern translation.
Nice. Fair enough. It is the end of a week, and that means another viewer mailbag. We have 3 excellent questions. And Phil is stretching to get ready, and
it's the 4th commandment. Now that I think about it,
is
I'm sorry. Okay, let's go.
Yeah. I do feel good because I just remembered something about the Old Testament that you didn't, so that makes me feel good. First question from Alex. Hello, Alex.
Hi, Alex. Good question, buddy.
I was at a comedy show in New York the other night and saw a comic make a joke about feeling old. He said if you wanted to make young people feel even younger. Don't know why you'd want to do that. Let them know that on a long enough timeline, Harry Potter would eventually be remade or reimagined. Can you tell me your thoughts on remakes, reimaginings in general? I'd love to hear about television shows as well, even though I know this only applies to Phil. First off, tough guy.
Yeah.
It applies to me as well.
Nah, probably not.
No, it actually does. I have a reimagined and remade television show that I could talk about, which I hated. Anyway. You want to go? You want me to go?
Why don't you give us what you got?
Okay.
All go ahead. Give us what you got.
In general, they annoy me, but not for the reasons that a lot of people throw around. They annoy me not because it's like, oh, this thing is being made and I remember it, and oh God, the first one was so amazing. And I mean, that's true. But the answer to that is don't see the remake or don't, right? I mean,
just don't go.
Just don't go. You know. Did you see that remake of Total Recall that came out this year?
No, I didn't.
Me neither.
I'm all set.
Precisely. That is precisely how I would describe myself.
If you don't want Hollywood to remake movies, don't go see them.
Yes. What upsets me about them is sort of the acknowledgement that they are that when they come at us as moviegoers en masse the way they are presently doing, it is indicative of sort of like a dearth of creativity. It's like, it
isn't necessarily at all.
I don't think it is necessarily.
Yeah,
I don't think it is necessarily, but it can be.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure. But I just assume that and I don't know why I assume this. I guess it's just like, because I've been taught to assume this because it's part of being a consumer of a product is hating the people who give it to you. Like, I just assume that, unless you're an Apple person, in which case you think Steve Jobs is like a deity. But I just assume that, like, the people who make movies, like producers and those people, stop it. Put your phone away. The little Apple logo. Blah, blah, blah. Mine doesn't have that on it. Shocking. So, I just assume that those people are bad people and uncreative anyway. So when they do things that are creative and amazing, I'm like pleasantly surprised.
That's
this.
That's fair.
Lovely.
Some of my favorite movies. The one that is absolutely coming to my mind right now is they are remakes. There's one that The Magnificent Seven, a remake.
It is. It's true. Is it a remake or a reimagining? Because I do differentiate in my mind when he said remake / reimagining. I think of them as different. I'm not trying to split hairs. I think they're different. Like, for instance, reimagining as opposed to remake. Total Recall is a remake.
Sure.
Same title, trying to be the same movie. Reimagining is
it's a reimagining. It's a reimagining. The Magnificent Seven is a reimagining of Seven Samurai.
Remake also is like, if I said they're going to remake Casablanca, you'd want to punch the world. But if I
Right.
said they're going to reimagine Casablanca,
I only might want to punch the world.
yeah, no, I mean, you'd be like, "Urgh," but you'd be like,
Yeah.
"Well, okay, we'll see what they have in mind.
It's true. It's fair.
Yeah. I
fair.
love the idea, by the way. I really do. I like what Alex's question is, partially because it gives me the opportunity to crush children's dreams and be like, hey, because when he said like Harry Potter will be remade, like I love that. I love the idea that Harry Potter will be remade because it will piss people off so much, like that generation, and I can down the line be like, sorry, it's the way it is.
Do you think 25 years from now, mothers are going to go take their daughters to see the new Twilight movies, the remakes of the Twilight movies?
That's different. That's just gross.
I agree, but it doesn't invalidate my question. I do want to say
I
this.
choose to believe it. I think it will invalidate your question because I don't think those books will stand the test of time. I think it'll be one of those things where it's like, oh, those were very popular in the whatever
fair.
in the knots.
That's totally fair, but the movies made a boatload of money. That's why most things come up for reimaginings or remakes.
I have to think about that for a little bit.
Please.
I really have to think about that.
One television show I want to talk about. One of the great forgotten. Great. I loved it, but I realized that it might not be. It's no Breaking Bad or The Sopranos.
Okay.
Of the late '90s was a TV show starring Jeremy Piven called Cupid, where he was.
Oh, you've talked about this before. Go on.
He was either Cupid fallen to Earth, expelled from Mount Olympus for cavorting with too many nymphs, or he was insane. One of the two, and it had crackling sexual chemistry. There's that phrase again. I'm sorry. It just the chemistry between the two leads.
You could have just said chemistry.
Was lovely. It was great. The writing was sharp. One of my favorite television writers. He went on to create Veronica Mars, and they remade it a couple years ago with actors that I like, and it was terrible. And it was devoid of all of the charm that made the first one so lovely.
Who made this? When was this? I don't remember this.
It was even the same guy. They paid him a boatload of money to remake the show with Bobby Cannavale and Sarah Paulson.
Okay. Bobby Cannavale is really an actor that they haven't figured out what to do with yet.
I agree.
Boardwalk Empire got really close. Have you seen Boardwalk Empire?
I've seen an episode or two, and I like it.
First of all, you need to watch Boardwalk Empire from the beginning, and it's worth it. And people, it gets a weird. Basically, people's rap on Boardwalk Empire is it's not as good as Sopranos or it's not as good as Mad Men. It's like
right. Okay.
It's not as good as the greatest shows in the history of television. Okay, maybe not. It's a really good television show.
Have you seen? And
Bobby Cannavale is the sort of the antagonist of the third. I think we're on the fourth season now.
Okay.
Of the most recent season.
Okay. Have you seen? Have you seen The Station Agent?
Yeah.
He's wonderful in that movie.
But he's not someone that has captured the public's imagination.
Oh, that's true. No, that's true.
There's not a vehicle for him yet.
Yes, agreed.
You know. Okay. My answer to this question, my response.
Good Lord, was that all me? I'm sorry. This is gonna be
the whole time.
This is gonna be a 3-hour mailbag. Go for it.
You know what? You just go to the next question. You don't care how I feel.
I mean, I don't, but I imagine there's at least.
Just answer all the other ones yourself too, and then we'll just.
Oh my goodness! Just give me your answer. I hate you.
I have a lot of caveats here.
Oh boy.
My answer is a reimagining in and of itself.
Can we not be meta?
West Side Story. West Side Story.
Nice.
But here's my caveat. Don't mess with the music. Do the book and the music as is.
Okay.
I'd like to see it gritty because in its time it was gritty. And I think it's so good that even though it's incredibly dated, it still works. It works. The movie works. But I'd love to see it like what? Like we don't have racial tension between like Latinos and white people in New York today? Of course we do. And the racial humor is still there, and there's like I'd love to see it reimagined and even if you mess with some of the language, have the music the same. Don't mess with Bernstein's music, please.
Oh no.
Please.
Yeah.
I love West Side Story so much, and I would love to see them do a remake that made. I mean, now here's the thing. I wouldn't love to see them do it because they would ruin it. But I
Right.
love. That's why I'm like saying like, but if they could do it,
Yeah.
if it was done right by the right person with the who had a vision. I think the biggest problem is lack of vision. You know,
I
Andy
agree.
and I worked with someone in college whose name I would not say because I think that would be rude. Who basically that person's rap was they would go see a play done professionally and then be like, I have to direct that play,
Right.
and then their whole vision for the show was based on the one they had seen. That's the reputation they had. I don't know that it was true or false.
Right.
I wouldn't be shocked. So I don't want someone just to watch the movie and then be like, okay, we've got to no. I want someone who had like a crazy vision for this thing.
Yeah.
That wasn't Baz Luhrmann. Please not Baz
Oh,
Luhrmann.
God.
Please not Baz.
Ugh.
Just that would be awesome. I think that'd be really, really fun. I think it's a great idea. TV shows I haven't thought about much. Except to say, one of our favorite shows of all time is a reimagining. I mean, Friday Night Lights.
That's true.
Friday Night Lights is a TV show, and Alex, if you haven't been watching Friday Night Lights, and don't give me this like I'm a Jew who lives in New York thing. Why would I care about Texas
I'm
football?
a Jew who lived in New York.
But you are from Texas,
That's
and you
fair.
love football.
That's fair.
Everyone should see Friday Night Lights, and Friday Night Lights is a TV show based on a movie based on a book, and then they made a book. They wrote a book based on the TV show. They're thinking about doing a movie based on the TV show that was based on the movie that was based on the book.
And here's the deal: they're all worth it. Like
I haven't read the
all
book.
of them.
I haven't read the book, although I've heard it's fine. I mean, Buzz Bissinger's got a good reputation. I heard it's a good book. The movie is great. Billy Bob Thornton is so good in it,
So good.
and everybody else is good in it. It's really good. I would say see the movie before you see the TV show because the TV show gets so in depth
Yeah.
that the movie will almost make you feel like it left you wanting, and you don't want that.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
But that's a great reimagining. I'm with you generally though. I don't really want there to be remakes unless. But I mean, look. I mean, there are reasons for it. I mean, You've Got Mail was a remake of The Shop Around the Corner because
That's true,
using
true.
email. Not that that's a great movie, but neither was the Little Shop Around the Corner. I mean, they're both like they're
That's
fine.
true.
Like, by the way, yeah, you want to remake trifles? Remake trifling movies all you want.
Right.
It's basically what we're doing anyway.
That's true. That's fair. That's fair.
So that's my answer, number one.
Sounds good. Shall we move on?
Yeah, shall I ask the question for number two?
You shall.
This is a question from a longtime listener and now frequent contributor, Blake. If you don't like Blake's questions, then why don't you ask some questions,
There you go,
jerkface?
there you go. Yeah.
Blake's question: What sci-fi world would you most like to come true, or would you most like to live in? I don't have it in front of me, but it's what sci-fi world would you most like to live in / come true?
Okay. We have to set up one sort of rule for our answers to this question.
You didn't tell me that because
We
it
have
might
to.
ruin.
It's going to make total intuitive sense. You have to be someone awesome in this world, right? Because if you say Star Trek and then you end up living as a red shirt,
I refuse to accept your caveat for my answer because I have actually crafted my answer such that that's not important.
Okay.
But go ahead.
well, fine. That's fine and valid and honestly, this is
Because I wanted to answer the question.
Star Wars because lightsabers
That's great.
and moving things with my mind. I mean,
I mean, assuming you get to be a Jedi.
I
But
do
yes. Right, because that's the
because
point.
of my caveat.
Right.
But I
That's a
would
good
I would
caveat.
rather be a Jedi than Captain Kirk. Although Captain Kirk does have more romance in his life.
There is one problem with this.
Please.
Star Wars isn't sci-fi, it's history. It's a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Science fiction
Sci-fi
doesn't mean future. Nope. Nope. Absolutely not. I will challenge you on that definition, sir.
Okay, then give me other examples.
There are science fiction movies set in today.
So alternate realities.
It means using technology to confront moral issues. I mean, that's how science fiction started as a genre.
generally when we talk about science, fine. Generally when we talk about science fiction, we talk about going to other planets. We talk about futuristic stuff.
Fair.
And they're always terrible. Like they're never places you want to live. They're never. Like there wasn't what I was watching something recently or listening to. I was talking to a guy today and he was like, I was reading this book about a dystopian future, and I was like, they're all books about dystopian futures. What do you want to live in Dark City? Like
although Earth of Star Trek is actually a utopian society, basically. I mean, like, everybody gets along. There's no, like, class strife. They've sort of, like, I forget how they put it, like, we've moved past money. Like they're really happy with each other.
Well, except, as you said, there's still people out there. That's the fun. We've moved past money and racial issues, and yet they're still all out there killing each other. So, I mean,
from other planets. Right. But, like, if I were to choose a life in a science fiction universe where I was pointedly no one special, I would be like a shopkeeper on Earth in the Star Trek universe. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So that's my answer. Hit me.
Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Awesome.
Rock and roll saves the world.
Awesome.
Everybody lives in peace and harmony and wears togas. It is like a huge win for everyone.
Phil, I apologize, listeners. My response to Phil is a visual one. Yep, that's it. That's what I got for you. Okay.
All we are is dust in the wind, dude. Wind, dude.
Be excellent to each other. That's true. Well done. Well done. I like
it. And using technology to solve moral quandaries, like what do you do when you're a slacker? You travel into the future and get in the past. You go travel in the past and
totally
get
fair.
Abraham Lincoln and Beethoven.
Love it.
I really like the thing that I thought about was I was like, what movie? Because I did go straight to the futuristic thing, and I really was like, what movie would I actually want to live in their future? Because to me, these movies are always something terrible.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like Bill and Ted, everybody wins.
It's
and
true.
You know why? Because of rock and roll.
Because of rock and roll.
I mean, that's like,
no, that's fair.
Me, that's just the jam. Like, you couldn't ask for better. All right.
Well done.
Thank you.
I love that answer. Well done, Phil. Last question from a new contributor to the podcast, Damon. Hello, Damon. He's a good friend of mine from when we were very, very young. You will hear from him again, but his first question from us this week. First question for us this week. In one of the... No, sorry.
Can I... Before you ask the question, can I say something?
Please.
I think the capital Q in cursive might be the reason that cursive can't survive.
Looks like a 2.
It's just stupid. Yeah, it's stupid. Yeah. Continue. Go on.
Fair.
The F is not much better. Go ahead.
Agreed. Yeah, what's it doing? Dropping down, like all the way up and then dropping down below. That's dumb. Come on. We've got a train coming through. Enjoy that, everybody. In one of the early Project Melways, everyone, watch Project Melway.
Right. Why aren't you watching Project Melway right now?
I think it was for Tim. Do not see the movie Tim, but watch the podcast.
But watch our episode where we talk about Tim.
Indeed. You say that the movie contains setups which never have any payoffs. I'll ignore for the moment that you indicate that some of Gibson's work is in some way imperfect. Well done, Damon.
Well done, Damon.
And ask the following. What movie, relative to the amount of setup that goes into it, contains the most disappointing payoff? It doesn't have to be a surprise ending or plot twist. It could be, but you could also say, I know exactly where this is going, and it blows. And I'm taking the collective works of M. Night Shyamalan off the table for this one, because that's just lazy. And I quote, plants, they're under attack by plants.
It's symbolism, Damon. Think about it.
No, don't think about it, Damon. You'll just hurt something.
M. Night Shyamalan didn't think about it. Why should you?
Okay. So
I had a teacher in seminary that he would always give us quizzes or papers or essay questions or whatever that were not proofread. And there were times he gave us a test, and he was the hardest grader at the whole school, second hardest grader in the whole school. I skipped the other guy, who literally would ask us questions that had like the question wouldn't finish. There wouldn't be a finish to the sentence, where there'd be huge typos. And so when I finished my final paper, I just sent it off to him, and someone's like, "Aren't you going to proof it?" I was like, "He doesn't proof his own crap. Why would I proof mine?" Like,
Nice.
stop.
Nice.
Anyways,
What do you
sorry,
got?
M. Night Shyamalan. The point is, M. Night Shyamalan, what happened, brother? Go ahead.
Oh, would you like me to answer?
So most disappointing payoff. The short version of. By the way, a beautifully crafted question.
Yes.
The most disappointing build. There's a great build up and then a disappointing outcome.
Yeah.
I have 3 movies. Go ahead. Do you want to start, or you want me to start?
I'll give you. I have 3 movies as well. I don't need to talk about any of them really, but
Wanna go back and forth.
Sure.
Okay, my first movie, Blade Runner.
Nice.
I mean, I've already talked about my disappointment in Blade Runner, and I don't want to overdo it because I don't hate the movie, but really, it's like, oh wait, you just had to kill that guy, and then it's over.
Yep.
Oh wait, but okay.
Yeah.
That's my first one.
Totally.
Meh.
Lincoln. We all knew where that was ending, and we were like, could you end it just a little early? Just a little early? Like,
Well, because that was the actual climax. The climax was the climax.
Yes.
The climax was the passage of the bill.
Terrible.
And then the denouement was him.
Terrible decision. Terrible decision to end it where he ended it.
Spielberg is one of the worst of people who make good movies.
Yep.
Which he does.
Yep.
He is one of the worst at beginning and ending them.
There's another one in my list of 3 of Spielberg's. Go ahead.
There's another one of Ridley Scott in my list.
Awesome.
Prometheus.
Nice.
Prometheus was the setup for that movie is astounding. The visuals for this movie are mind-numbing. Yes. I would actually watch this movie again because it's not boring.
Nope.
And it's legitimately terrifying even while being incoherent, actually.
It's true. That's true.
It's actually, all I can say, it's not actually incoherent. It just asks a bunch of questions and then walks away. I know a person who will ask you a question. I'm just going to give you an example of what this person does when they okay? I'm going to give you an example. Hey Andy, what was your major in college again?
Phil, my major was drama.
I'm really hungry. Do you want to eat food? I was talking to this person the other day, and they just started, they said that I needed to do the dishes. I need to do the dishes. Andy, what were you raised? Like, what religion were you raised?
I was raised Jewish.
Were you raised Jewish? That's really interesting. I have to go right now. That's the kind of thing that the person does. They just like, question, interruption, statement about nothing else, another question, and then walk away. That's what that interaction with that person's like. That's a little bit what Prometheus is like.
Sure.
It's like, what? How is the world created? And what if there are people that create you, but they don't actually love you? In fact, they want to kill you. And what if, in fact, there were walk away. Movie over.
Wow.
And all that being said, I would totally watch it again.
Totally.
I think Ridley Scott is really fascinated with concepts and being conceptual.
Sure.
Visual, cinematic, and he's good at it.
Yes.
He's good at it.
Yes.
I would say he is reminiscent, although very different, but very reminiscent of Tim Burton, where sometimes they're so excited about that aspect that they don't actually consider the quality of the screenplay.
I would agree with that assessment. That's really well said.
That's what I want to say. So that's my second.
Okay.
So what's your second?
My second.
Yes.
And this is a movie that I do love. I defended, and I even defended the ending. I was like, it's silly, but it works. And I can't do it. I can't live a lie anymore, Phil. I can't. The first Superman movie. He reverses time by flying around the world really fast. I can't...
So he's not actually technically reversing time. He's technically going back in time, isn't he? I mean, isn't that the if you he's going faster than the speed of light around the world backwards? Isn't that technically? No, I'm just asking.
I no, I'm not. This is not judging face. This is me considering face. And my answer is I don't know, but it doesn't change it.
I agree.
It does not.
I have seen of the 4 Superman movies from the original.
Yes.
I have seen Superman 4 once in the theater.
Me too. Well done.
Theater.
Theater.
And the word theater was stretched beyond credulity when I was watching that film.
Indeed.
As was the word film. I have seen Superman 3 probably a couple dozen times because I had it on tape growing up.
Totes. Me too.
I have seen Superman 2 many, many times. I have seen Superman 1 maybe twice in my life.
Interesting. Okay.
It all is based on what I had on tape because
Sure.
as we've talked about in previous podcasts, unless your parents were buying video cassettes left and right, which a lot of parents weren't, you either taped things or you waited till they came on TV.
Yep.
And so Superman 2 was very integral to my life. Superman 1 wasn't.
The important
Same
thing
with
to
Road
take away-
Warrior, which is Mad Max 2, and Grease 2. Like, the sequels were for some reason huge.
The important thing to take out of this part of our discussion is that Superman 4 is terrible.
Terribile.
Third movie. Go for it.
Yes.
Go for it.
Oh, okay. You ready for it?
I hope so.
Wizard of Oz. Wait a minute. I had the shoes the entire time? I would be so Oh, and by the way, and then you wake up and it's all a dream? Wait, so not only did none of this matter, but none of this mattered? Oh, but you saved Oz. First of all, it's like, well, but at least you saved Oz. Not really, because you could have, because it didn't even really exist. I didn't have to go through all this, but at least I saved Oz. Just kidding. Wake up. F. I'll give it an F plus because Judy Garland is adorable and the movie is so well made and exciting. But
I cannot
Wizard of Oz.
I cannot speak intelligently about or objectively about the Wizard of Oz. So I will
Oh, okay.
just
because
I
you
will
love it
just say,
so deeply.
Say again.
Because you love it so deeply.
I don't even know, like, I mean, when you say love, like, I don't own it. I don't have any plans to own it. I don't need to watch it again anytime soon. But it feels like childhood to me. You know what I mean? Like, it just feels like childhood. So I will say that the last time I watched it, which was as an adult.
That's how I feel about Secret of Nim, by the way.
Say again?
That's how I feel about Secret of Nim.
Another movie, honestly, an equal movie in my esteem in terms of what it meant to my childhood.
Stature growing up, yes.
Yes.
Because when you're a kid, you're not like, this is a classic. You're just like, I want to see that again.
Right. Yes. I will just say that I disagree in that both of those endings worked for me. And I have seen both of them as an adult.
Wait, both? What are we talking about? Both?
Secret of Nim.
Oh no, Secret of Nim's great. I wasn't talking about the ending to that movie.
Okay.
I just meant that it was that for me in terms of completely unable to be objective.
I gotcha. Okay.
Completely unable to be objective.
Got it. Yes.
Like, I often wonder if Secret of Nim is actually a good movie, but the answer will never be known to me. It's not like Dark Crystal, where if you watch it as an adult, you're like, ooh.
Yeah.
Or how I felt about Neverending Story. It's very possible that if I showed someone as an adult Secret of Nim, they'd be like, what did you like about this?
Right.
But it doesn't matter. It's too ingrained inside the noggin.
My third
Please. Oh my gosh.
AI, artificial intelligence. Let's have a 3-hour movie.
Oh God.
About which we've all already seen because every one of us has seen Pinocchio.
Right.
Let's have him go through an arduous journey that we know will end in heartbreak, which I kind of dig. I kind of dig that. You know, there's something poetic about that. And then let's have it take... First off, let's have it take way too long. Stretch. And then let's tack on a faux happy ending that isn't actually happy, because it's going to end in heartbreak, but this time we don't see it.
That's the best kind of heartbreak, the kind I don't have to see.
Indeed. I have heard that the ending was actually Kubrick's idea, not Spielberg. I don't care. It's terrible.
Not only do you not care, you kind of don't believe it.
I suppose that's true, but I can't even get to do I believe it or not because the ending makes me so angry.
Yeah.
Because it's a really, like, it was a lot of fun was made of AI when it was released, and I actually think it's a pretty well-made movie. Like, I
saw it once and then I was like, okay.
I think I saw it twice. I don't actually remember. There are a lot of interesting things in it, and Haley Joel Osment is just amazing. Like, he's just amazing in it. He really is.
It really frustrates me that he's not around anymore.
Me too.
The level of acting that kid, the level of his performances. Yes. I mean, Sixth Sense would not actually be considered a good movie if not for him.
Agreed.
It's an okay movie.
Yep.
It's fine and it's got a good little twist.
Yep.
But he makes it like something so real.
Yes.
It doesn't feel manufactured or cinematic or fake or phony or it just feels like it's not a paper moon, it feels like a real deal thing.
Yes.
Because of him. And there was another movie in AI. I mean, there's a couple movies where you're just like,
yeah,
really, man,
yeah,
come on.
So talented. So talented.
Forrest Gump. He was in Forrest Gump.
Yes. I mean,
speak of it again.
He didn't really do anything in Forrest Gump, but yes.
No.
Yes.
Okay. So go on.
I don't want to. That's it. I just think it's like because when it's a 3-hour movie, by necessity there's buildup, right?
I thought you were going to say Saving Private Ryan, by the way.
Oh no! I mean, that was a terrible ending, but not in the same way. Not because of the buildup.
The beginning of that movie, he's so bad at beginnings and endings,
right.
And everyone's like, I love saying that the beginning of Saving Private Ryan is bad because inevitably, the other person will say, how could you say that? That was the most amazing battle sequence of all time. And I'm like, that's the beginning of the movie.
Yep.
You actually blocked out the actual beginning because it was so bad.
Yep.
And you told yourself, which is just like, someone should have just made that the beginning of the movie.
Yes.
What's the problem?
Yes. Terrible. Terrible.
F.
Yes.
F.
But not, I think, and maybe this is just how I'm thinking of the question, not the same kind of terrible ending or beginning.
As AI or Lincoln?
Because it's not like a build-up. You're not building up to see what the old guy is going to say at the graves at the end of the movie.
It's really possible. And you and I, look, Steven Spielberg may watch this someday. I believe things like that. My wife's always like, you always talk about famous people like they're going to watch your show. And I'm like, yeah. I think they should. We're really good.
Yep.
Steven Spielberg, come on. You're Steven Spielberg, dude. Okay? You've never been my favorite because, like, my favorites like Scorsese and Tarantino and Coen Brothers. But to say you've never been my favorite, that's like saying, like, Neil Young's never been my favorite. But I freaking love Neil Young, okay?
Yeah.
Like, Dylan's my favorite, and Johnny Cash, and Frank Sinatra, and Gillian Welch. But, dude, come on. I still love Neil. Like, I listen to Neil Young all the time. To say that you're not my favorite sounds like an insult. No, I just mean, like, you're still a really great filmmaker. Like, dude.
Tighten up the beginning and the ending?
No, what I'm going to say now is, it's possible that he's going to win an Oscar for Best Directing for what might be his worst directing, in my opinion, of a movie. Although I have to say this. I give Daniel Day-Lewis so much credit as a human being, not just an actor, that when he talks about Steven Spielberg and how amazing it was to work with him, and that...
You think there must be something to it?
Yeah, no, yeah. So let me say this. I would say his directing choices as far as the things he did with the camera and his choices of storytelling were problematic.
Right.
But
as a director of actors...
We've all been in shows where the director made us want to punch the wall and everyone gave the show a standing ovation.
Right. Yes.
So, like, that. I mean, so people... Like, I have issues with the storytelling and the choices that were made in Lincoln. But, I mean, there are 3 performances in that movie that, if they won the actors' Oscars... they would be deserved.
Yes, I agree.
Like, I am rooting for someone other than Tommy Lee Jones in this situation, but Tommy Lee Jones' performance is amazing.
Sure.
So maybe that's the thing. Maybe Spielberg, the way he works with actors, is beautiful and phenomenal, and he picks really fun stories and he's really entertaining. But beginnings and endings, dude, beginnings and endings.
Yeah.
I don't know who he asks to fix that for him either.
Right.
Like, I don't know the answer.
Who comes in? Who's your closer? Who's your closer when you're starting pitchers? Steven Spielberg.
Tarantino, I guess.
Nice. So
Tarantino would be honest with him, right? Tarantino would be like,
True.
okay, here's the deal. You're great, Steve. You're awesome. Everybody loves you.
Agreed.
Here's what you got to do.
Agreed. Or agree to that it's at
Not
least an
David
excellent...
Lynch.
No.
Not David Lynch. That's my answer. Not David Lynch is my answer.
So those are our 3 questions. Alex, Blake, Damon, thank you so much. Excellent questions as always.
Domo Arigato, Damon, Blake, and Alex. Not in that order. Domo Arigato. That's what I said.
Know. But you got to rhyme it. Like,
I'm not going to. I don't need to. The Japanese don't rhyme everything they say. I'm not quoting Styx. I'm quoting Japanese people.
Aren't you quoting Styx, Phil? Aren't you?
No. If I was going to quote Styx, I'd say it's all a grand illusion. And then I would tell you to come sail away with me, young man, young lad.
Well played. Well played, Duvall. This has been another week of
Because you're
Second
fooling
Breakfast
yourself
Podcast.
and you don't believe it, and you're an angry young man.
I've made a terrible mistake.
Yeah, you should never challenge me on Styx. It's a terrible idea.
Oh, man, I'm going to make fun of you when we're done here. This has been another week of Second Breakfast Podcast. I'm Andy Roth. That's Phil Duvall. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.